A short tutorial on an icon which is called spiral curve definition in Catia V5. It's a very simple idea, and it works for 2D generating 2D spirals, two-dimensional spirals. Spirals, in other words, spirals which are in a plane. But it's interesting that I tried to find a video on this from other users, and I didn't see any. So this is why I decided to do this thing and hopefully put my own 2 cents into it. First of all, this particular icon is going to be found in generative shape design. Now, generative shape design is usually used for wireframe and surface design, but some of the functionalities of what you see in generative shape is also the stripped down version of it is in wireframe and surface design, which is a different workbench. However, spiral curve definition cannot be found there. You have to be in generative shape design in order to see that. So if you go to the wireframe, assuming that you're in generative shape design, you go to the wireframe. This last set of icons, there is something in it which is called the spiral. They're right here, and you can see that it's a two-dimensional. It has a two-dimensional feeling. Now, this is the one that makes a helix. Okay, now helix can be found in wireframe and surface design, but this cannot be. That's what we're interested in. When you click on the spiral curve icon, this dialog box opens up, and you have to make a few selections. And I'll do that through an example. I'll go through an example to show you how it's done. And at the end, I'm going to come back and create once I have a spiral, create a three-dimensional object like that. This is just a bonus, basically. All right. So let me go to my part. I have a part here, and I am in generative shape design. You can see that. Uh, Now notice that if you go to mechanical design, this is the stripped down version of the generative shape design called wireframe and surface design, but this spiral cannot be found there. Okay, it's not there. So you have to be in generative shape design. So what I'm going to do is I'll make a point, arbitrary point, and a line. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm going to do that in the XY plane. You can make it in any plane that you want. You can make a tilted plane in the space, and on it do what I'm doing. But I will stick to the XY stuff. So select the XY, select a point, click on the point. Let's make it some kind of an arbitrary point. Let me All right, let me move the point to this location. These dimensions mean nothing. Okay, good, good. So this point is actually in the XY plane. If you double click on it, its coordinate says that your y and z are 0, and this is the value of x. Okay, good. Now I'm going to draw a line in this plane. So a line, and I'm going to do that maybe point to point. I'll make 2 points and just arbitrary 2 points, any 2 points. Okay, 2 points. So make one. All right. So let me make 1 point here on purpose. I don't want to use that I already made. And a second one, another one, the second point. I'm going to make it. And what I'm going to do is in that same plane, I will go, for example, let's see now, I'll go, there we are. And there we are. So basically, I want to make my line through these 2 points, and I say, okay, so here's what happened. Initially, I created a point right there. Good, keep it like that. And then I created a line, and the way I made the line by temporarily making 2 points and connecting them like that. Well, notice that all of this stuff is in the XY plane. Very good. Okay, so I click on the spiral right here. See that? Spiral in the wireframe. I click on the spiral. This dialog box opens up. It says, okay, first of all, that spiral that you make, in what plane is it located? Well, obviously, because I did this in the XY plane, I select the XY plane right there. So this is where the spiral is going to be made. It says, where is the point that you want the spiral to start? And that's going to be that first point that I did right there. See this? This is the very first one that I did right there. It says, what is the direction? In other words, here's what happened. Essentially, you give it a direction, and direction is this line. So what it does, essentially, it draws a line from this point parallel to that. So if I do this, good. Look what happened already. Something is made here. This is a spiral. What is the starting radius? Well, the starting radius, the way it is right now, it says 0. So let me make this thing a little bit bigger. Look at what happened. Starting radius is now this. This length is the starting radius. What is the end radius? End radius right now, it is 10. I'll make it more, maybe like that. So starting radius is 10. End radius is 30. I'm sorry, starting radius is 7. End radius is 33. Okay. And how many revolutions do I want? Let's make it 2 revolutions. See? 1, 2. And there's something else you can do that. An end angle is right now 0, but you can make the end angle to be something but 0. Look at what happened at this point. Just watch it. See that? For example, 21, something like that. If you don't want it, put it back to 0. And if you want 3, make it 3. There we are. Okay. Now, by the way, the pitch is deactivated here, but if you use these other 2 options, you have to specify the pitch. So you can play with these. It's very easy. Now that essentially I've done it for one, you can do it for the other one, other 2. So that's good. Very good. Now you might say that okay, let me. If I had another line here, let me double click on the spiral. If I had another line here, and if I did not want my spiral essentially to follow that direction, you can select that other line. Now, incidentally, what I'm going to do is, now that I've done the spiral, this is 2D. This could have been done in any plane. Okay. However, if that line does not happen, for example, notice that if the line that you drew is not in that support plane, it says I can't do it. This point and that line must be, that direction must be in the support that you selected. Now, I told you that as a bonus, I'm going to do, for example, this thing. So what I'm going to do is basically I have to draw a circle and ribbon here. So let me make a plane. That essentially finishes the tutorial. But I want to make it a little bit more interesting. So normal to a curve, a plane normal to a curve. There's the curve. There's the point. I'm going to draw a circle in there on that plane. I will sketch. This has nothing to do with the spiral anymore. Okay. So where am I here? Right there. So I'll draw a little circle. So I drew a circle essentially perpendicular to that curve. And then I'm going to see this may be too big, but that's okay. We're going to try. So I want to rip this thing, basically sweep it. So in order to create a solid object, you have to go to, for example, if you want to make a solid object, of course, you go to part design and look for rip operation. The rip operation is right here. Okay. The profile was this. The center curve is that spiral. And then you say, okay, right there. Now, there is a way to cheat. So let me show you a different way of doing the spiral, but you don't have as much control over it. So what I'm going to do is let me go ahead and first of all make a point here at the zero at the origin. Well, actually, let me make a point no, not Z. I want Z to be 0. Let me change, okay, right here. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go to generative shape design. Where is it? Right there. And click on the helix. And it says, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll make a height and pitch. Height and pitch. Pitch, I'll make it 10. We'll see how it looks like. And the height of 50. Let's see how it looks like. The direction, starting point is right there. And direction is along Z. So it looks like. Okay, very good. What I want to do is I want the taper angle. You make a taper angle of right there, some arbitrary number. So basically what I've done, I've created, let me hide this stuff. Basically what I've done is to create a helix for you. And now I can project that helix onto the XY plane. So let's see now. So what we're going to do is on the XY plane, I will project that helix. Where is the project? Project that helix right there, and it's going to turn out to be a spiral, of course. Of course, exit. So if I hide the helix, there's your spiral. Except that you don't have much control over this thing. When you're using the spiral, you have a lot of control. But here, essentially, this is same thing, except that you don't have much control for specifying things. All right, folks. So that's it, and good luck.